So we're here in Castle Point with myself and Julian Ware-Lane, who's the candidate, will be the prospective candidate for Castle Point.
Castle Point is the amalgam in the mid-70s of Canvey and Benfleet Urban District Councils. So the four towns that it really covers are Canvey Island itself, Benfleet, Thundersley and Hadley.
Okay. And you've been selected now for a few months.
More than a year now, selected by
Selected
by the Labour Party to represent this constituency at the general election, whenever that comes.
And what do you think are the main issues that voters around here have?
Well, there's big concern currently about the threat to the green belt for development. There's government targets for housing which we support, but we don't support the concept of building on the green belt unless there is no choice, and we think there should be better exploration for brownfield sites and better public consultation. There's also issues on transport. The constituency has a number of traffic black spots, and there's also issues about access on and off the island. There's also methane, which is for people on Canvey Island itself is a very big issue. There's talk about lots of LNG storage going in there, and safety concerns to do with that.
In terms of these key issues, then, how are you actually finding that the best way to communicate them to the voters in the area?
Well, with campaigning strategies on a number of fronts. One is, of course, is things like this, press work as well. We're doing press releases and interviews and letters to the paper, but also leafleting, door knocking, speaking to people. I've had a very good response in the canvassing that I've done, and depends on where you go. Of course, you get slightly different issues. If you're in Dawes Heath, the green belt is a big issue for people in Dawes Heath. You've gone to Canvey Island, getting on and off the island, the third road, plus methane.
And what about things, campaign support from the Labour Party regionally or centrally, or in this kind of constituency you don't really expect to get a great deal of support, but I mean they provide tools and
I've been very pleased with the support I had from the region and the National Party. I think our government's been a success, and I think it's an easy story. When you speak to people in the flesh, it's an easy story to sell. We're not a perfect government. There's things that are done which I quite frankly have found unacceptable. But you look at it in the round, I think it's a very positive story to sell, and I can quite happily talk about our economic record, which of course is under examination at the moment, and our record with education, with hospitals. NHS is a big success story, and those sort of things, and having that support, getting media work, I'm very pleased. And it's our local Labour MP Angela Smith. Her constituency borders ours. She's been very, very helpful, and of course we are more than happy to support her in her attempts to be re-elected as well.
So it's really a campaign focused on local campaigns rather than sort of getting a sort of national message to people. I mean, perhaps an element of the two.
You hit the nail on the head, and it's an element of the two. When we're out canvassing, we talk about what's going on in your street. I mean, I've just done some work, for instance, on an area of overgrown pavement in a particular area, and for the people in that road, of course, that's a big issue.
Yeah.
But it's not, when you go out there, you're not just talking about their pavement, you're talking about the economic scene, investment in the NHS, the whole picture of government.
And of course you've lived in this area all your life,
all my life.
Right?
Yes, I was born in Westcliff and lived in this corner of the world for my 48 years.
Okay.
So you've got to make politics relevant, and that often means talking about local issues. Having born and lived all my life in Essex, that makes me, I've got a connection with that. I'm a family man, I'm a school governor, I'm a football referee, I'm involved in my community in a number of ways. And I can go and talk about schools, for instance, having brought children up, having currently being a school governor.
Yeah.
And I can I know every school's different and every school has slightly different issues, but I'm not as if I'm talking with in a complete ignorance about it. I'm involved.